Hello and welcome to our tutorial on how to operate the control panel in your motorhome. To wake the control panel, simply press the home icon on the bottom left and give it 5 to 10 seconds to boot up. When you see the Bluetooth icon on the top right hand side of the main menu, the control panel is ready for use. There are 9 sections in total, 6 on the first screen, and if you scroll to the right you'll see the remaining 3 sections. If you scroll back to the left, we'll start with the switches section on the bottom left hand side. In the switches section, you'll see 3 options: water pump, outdoor light and interior light. If you click the box to activate the water pump, then this will kick in when you need to wash your dishes, flush your toilet or have a shower. We advise only turning this on when required though, as the water pump can intermittently come on if the pressure drops, which can be a little annoying, especially through the night when you're trying to sleep. The outdoor light operates the light on the outside of the motorhome, just above the habitation door. The third switch is your interior light circuit, which provides power to all the internal lights as well as the TV and the Wi-Fi unit. We suggest keeping this circuit on all the time, as you can independently operate the light switches throughout the motorhome using their respective switches. To return back to the main menu, simply click the return arrow on the bottom right of the control panel. Since all 3 switches were activated, you'll now see the switches box illuminated with a 3. Let's now look at the resources section, which is on the top left hand side of the main menu. In here, you'll see your battery voltages on the left and your water levels on the right. Your leisure battery will get charged up when you are on electric hookup, and it will also charge when driving. If there's enough sunlight, it will also receive a trickle charge via the solar panel. Whilst your motorhome will be perfectly fine for a night or two off-grid, it's important to monitor the battery levels and never let them drop below 11 volts. Otherwise this will lead to battery failure. On the right-hand side of the resources screen, you'll see your fresh water level on the top and your waste water level on the bottom. These gauges read 0%, 33% and 66%. Since water is heavy, we'll ensure you have at least 33% for collection, as any more water will only eat into your miles per gallon. We always advise filling up your fresh water when you reach your destination. Just be sure to know if you have a serviced pitch, i.e. a tap next to your motorhome, or if there's a single point of filling up on the campsite. Before you refill with fresh water, simply tap the Refill button beforehand and monitor the gauge until you reached your desired water level. When you've finished refilling, tap Refill Finished, and this sets the water levels. If we click the return arrow again to return to the main menu, we'll now look at room climate. When you click this button, you'll see 2 options: heating or ventilating. We'll have a quick look at ventilating. This setting simply makes use of the boiler's fan, without heat, to help create a little breeze throughout the motorhome. It isn't air conditioning, but it can certainly help keep you cool on those 3 days of summer we often experience. The fan blowers go from 0 to 10, simply click the plus and minus buttons on the screen to select the desired fan speed. To turn the fans off, click the power icon on the top right hand side of the screen. We'll now go back into room climate, only this time we'll click the heating option on the left hand side, as you'll most definitely need heating a lot more than ventilating. On the heating screen, you'll see the current temperature in small writing with the desired temperature above. You can set your desired temperature by clicking the plus and minus icons on the screen. The heating will then kick in when the selected temperature is higher than the current temperature. On the right, you'll see the fan speed is currently set to fast, which is the best setting for during the day. On the bottom right hand side of the screen, you'll find the power source button. Click this button to select your desired power input, gas or electric. Remember, you'll need to have opened your gas bottle prior to selecting gas, otherwise, the panel will error. The panel is currently set to operate the heating on gas, but if you were on a campsite with electric hookup, this can be set to gas off and electric set to 1800 watts. On some rural campsites, you may have a smaller 10 amp electricity supply. Therefore, selecting 900 watts instead of 1800 watts will help you avoid tripping the campsite electrics. If you've selected electric as a power source but are not hooked up correctly, you'll get this error code. Double check your cable connections to establish a good connection, and check your campsite power post doesn't have circuit breakers that need to be reset. If you get this error and aren't on hookup, then change the power source to gas on and electric off, then the error should clear. Earlier, we mentioned that the fan speed fast was fine for during the day. But during the night, you'll want to set the fan speed to comfort. This way, the fan speed will be noticeably quieter and allow you to enjoy a good night's sleep whilst keeping all warm and cozy. To turn the heating off completely, click the power button on the top right hand side of the screen. Now, we'll have a look at the hot water operation. Click the hot water button on the top right of the main menu, then click turn on to reach the hot water screen. On the main screen, you'll see the current water temperature, and arrows allow you to select the 3 water settings: eco, comfort and hot. From here, you can also turn on the water pump if you haven't already done so with the switches menu. The power source button gives you the same power options as we saw earlier in the room climate screen, so we don't need to cover that again. It's important to know that heating the water takes precedence over room heating. If you are attempting to heat the water, which takes 10 to 15 minutes on hot setting, the room heating won't kick in until the water is up to temperature. If you are in need of heating sooner than you are in need of hot water, simply turn the hot water off using the power icon on the top right-hand side of the screen as you've done before. The water will actually start to heat a little as a byproduct of room heating, since it's a combi boiler, so hot water will reach temperature a little quicker if the heating has been running beforehand. Back on the main screen now, the only thing left to show you is how to turn the power off before traveling to your next destination. If you click and scroll the screen to the left, you'll see the Turn Off option. Click this and choose the option on the right, Turn Off. You'll then see the shutting down screen for a few seconds before the screen goes completely blank. Please note, if you've had the heating on prior to turning off the panel, then the panel can appear to get stuck on the shutting down screen. This is nothing to worry about. This simply means that the boiler is going through a cool-down phase to ensure that it's at a safe enough temperature to switch off completely. The cooling down process can take a few minutes. So there we are, that concludes our tutorial for the Truma iNet control panel. We hope you found it helpful. Thanks for watching.